Zirkzee release clause triggering plan. United are considering to trigger that release clause of Joshua Zirkzee in here for you, and we are here to obviously bring you the latest news and information as far as Manchester United is really concerned. And we are having something to talk about Hag Rashford, his issue, and Erik ten Hag that might result into one of these maybe really leaving the club of Manchester United, and Ineos putting out statements that they've never even came close to obviously talking to Gareth Southgate to get him through as a manager for the club of Manchester United. Welcome to the United Matters channel. How are you guys, and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rock and David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And this is the channel that brings you your latest news and information. I think today you people have gonna hit obviously get for stories from Rock and David and the United Matters channel, not so? And I think we are gonna be continuing with this pace on a daily to see that we really get you between 4 to 5 stories such that you guys continue to enjoy them. 15th of June it is, and the transfer window started yesterday on the 14th, and Man United saw itself get into one of the biggest stories of agreeing personal terms with Gerard Braithwaite and making the first bid of 35 to 45 million pounds that went ahead to be rejected by the side of Everton. And I tell you, tomorrow expect stories that Man United is preparing a second bid for Gerard Braithwaite, and we don't know how huge that bid is gonna be. Man United is pushing to see to it that they get this deal out of the way by the 30th of this month, because Everton has to get in money and United wants to obviously capitalize onto that. But in the due course of that story, we're gonna hit obviously getting a story of the owner of AS Roma wanting to buy the club of Everton, and certain United fans were like afraid that, oh my, looks like this new man is gonna come in with his money to obviously save Everton from the situation in which they are into. Guys, the money of the owner can only apply on the following activities. For example, building a new stadium, building new facilities, getting in buses, and so on and so forth, but not on really buying players and really borrowing the club. You know, the other point is, if at all a team has gone ahead to be not spending a lot of money and they really have a lot of money to spend and they don't have it, then this rich man can come in through and really kick in and say, all right, let me get you this money, you'll get it to me back later, like you saw how Chelsea used to do in the days of Abramovich, you know. And this financial fair play rule is only allowed to see a team register a loss of 35 million pounds in 3 years, you know. That is it. But if you happen not to register that and obviously show to it that you're really getting in bad and poor results, then the Premier League will obviously deduct more points from Everton. And I think this time round it's really gonna be better. The punishment is gonna be bigger than getting off points, because they've gone ahead to fall victims of really point reduction. We all know that, you know, on several occasions last season. I think they took off 9 and they went ahead and obviously give them back like 3, and this time round it might be a different decision made by the Premier League for this side. So don't really get afraid about what is being said that Everton is going to be getting in a rich man. That won't play any part into this deal. Everton need to sell and raise close to 60 million pounds or 50 in the remaining 15 days of this month, and the only 2 players they have that can raise that amount of money are Onana. I know he can go for 50 million pounds, and this man, Gerard Braithwaite, can also go for 50 million pounds. That shows you how bad they've been doing, because last season they went ahead to sell Anthony Gordon to Newcastle for 50 to 60 million pounds, and they haven't gone ahead to recover, meaning that a lot has to be done on the side of Everton to see to it that they really get out of this maze. If they don't get out of this maze before the 30th of June, then the new financial year will really begin, and they'll obviously be playing football knowing that their team will obviously get a point reduction into the league. They're going to be starting, and you don't know how many they're really going to deduct. This time around, they first took away 9. This season that we're going into, you might find out that they're going to really gate out more than that. So let's leave that Gerard Braithwaite story apart. And I was really seeing people in there for you. Rokani, you reported the story when all in about it. Now, the story has close to 3,000 views, and if you are just 2-3 people who are really saying that you had gonna hate to know the news, doesn't mean that everybody had gonna hate to know about the news. And I know most of the stories I do are already of known to you, but you are just waiting for my input and my reaction. Because if it was just me bringing out stories, like I come here, Zirkzee release clause triggering plan by Man United is on, I go to the next story. Rashford and Everton Hag not at par, third story. You know, it's like I'm reading news, you know, but it's like I'm giving out a thorough explanation on what I think is really gonna be into the mix. So that is exactly what is happening in here for the club of Manchester United. And let's obviously get into our stories of the day, because that of Gerard Braithwaite was just a by the way, and I needed to obviously give you what you call some point of like strength as far as the club of Manchester United, because I don't believe in what some people are really telling us. Now, Zirkzee, Telegraph Dakar, Manchester United have a strong interest in Joshua Zirkzee, but face stiff competition from the striker. For the striker this summer. Manchester United's interest in Zirkzee is concrete. He's not the only striker Man United are interested in, but the club are among those considering waiving his release clause. So Manchester United is really wanting to obviously trigger the clause of Joshua Zirkzee, and we all know that he's a 23-year-old player that plays for Bologna. And I went ahead to see Fabrizio Romano telling us that AC Milan has been working on this deal since December of 2023, right? Meaning that they've put in a lot of effort, and we will be here waiting to see how things really pan out. Joshua Zirkzee is 1.93 meters tall. One. Secondly, he has gone ahead to score 11 goals and 4 assists in 34 games at Bologna. That is a 15-goal contribution. And in the Coppa Italia, 3 games and 1 goal. He scored 12 goals last season. And I would obviously bring him at the club of Manchester United because of the release clause that is really very, very cheap. His release clause is just £35 million in there for you. And that is Joshua Zirkzee. Then Fabrizio Romano had the following to say about the guy. He said, Manchester United are asking about the situation of Joshua Zirkzee in terms of salary and release clause. However, AC Milan are currently the absolute front runners. They have an agreement with the player. So this is where we have to obviously kick in as Man United and really take us to the next level. For AC Milan, they are leading the race because they are really having a lot to offer to the player that will obviously make him happy. First and foremost, the player wants to stay in Italy. That is it. He wants to stay in Italy unless a huge offer comes in through and he really gets in all the promises that he's really gonna be given some good playing time at the club of Manchester United. And Ten Hag has to obviously sit him down and obviously tell him that, please, you are gonna really be getting in the best of the best. Now I'm having Joseph say hello, my G. Good morning, Joseph. How are you? And hope you're really having fun everywhere you are. Now, for this deal of Joshua Zirkzee, it is really tricky, and United have to act fast because AC Milan, the last time I heard, we are calling in or we are asking Bologna to obviously see to it that they really pay for that release clause. That is it. So if all goes as to plan, the player has huge chances to play for AC Milan than Man United. But I know the fact, we are Manchester United. There is a factor that I've always wanted to talk about at Man United and Dutch players. Erik ten Hag is one of those people that is Dutch, and Zirkzee is also Dutch. I all know that Erik ten Hag can easily convince this guy to come in through and really play for the club of Manchester United. He's just 23 years of age, and I've gone ahead to first. My second last story was all about Ivan Toney being linked to the club of Manchester United and his club calling in for £60 million. And I was like, how can we pay £60 million for a player who is 28 years of age, and I think next season he's going to be making 29? How do you pay that much for that kind of player who is not proven? For Harry Kane, you really understand that he's a proven player, and you know to eat that he'll give you some 2, 3, 4 seasons with 30, 20 goals a season. But Ivan Toney, he has only gone ahead to score 20 goals once in his career, especially in the Premier League at this elite level. So how do you pay £60 million to a player like this? And I got an answer that Brentford might be really wanting to sell the player, and because the player doesn't want to renew his contract, they're in a weaker position, and they would be willing to obviously sell him for like 35 to 40 million pounds. And I really went ahead to challenge that person that why should I go ahead and really pay for 35 million pounds to get in Ivan Toney at the club of Manchester United, yet there is a player who is 23 years of age, 5 years younger than him, that is going to be costing the same amount of money. You get? And he was like, you have a point in what you're saying. And I continue to challenge him that Ivan Toney, 5 years back, because Joshua Zirkzee is 23, meaning that 5 years back, Ivan Toney was really at the same age like Joshua Zirkzee. And what is 5 years from now? It's season of 2019-2020, right? Do you know where this guy was playing at? That is Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney was playing at Peterborough. You understand? Peterborough. And at 23, where is Joshua Zirkzee playing at? He's playing in the Serie A. And Peterborough by then was playing in Football League 1, not even in the Championship. You understand? So this is the striker that people want us to get in, yet there is a better option at the club of Manchester United, I believe, can do a better, can really bear better fruits. That's why I went ahead into the live chat and put out a poll for you people to vote on who do you think should be brought in as a centre forward for the club of Manchester United, Joshua Zirkzee and or Ivan Toney. And I've always gone ahead to let you know that on any day I go with Joshua Zirkzee, because he's really this kind of player that has release clause that he's really cheap. You bring him in to compete with Rasmus Højlund, and I think he'll love that. He'll love that. You understand? Though his agent might do exactly. Sorry, though on the other hand, you cannot rule out on the player wanting to obviously staying at all in the Serie A and play for AC Milan to obviously have what we call a gradual process of growth, because he would love to obviously play for a big team and see how things really be. You get? For a club like AC Milan, he really understands that a lot will come into your way, because he will score goals, you'll compete in the Champions League, and maybe you'll be preparing yourself for the next big stage. And what's that next big stage? Coming to the Premier League. And I tell you, if Joshua Zirkzee has gone ahead to score 12-13 goals this season and some 5 assists, if he goes to AC Milan, he's really gonna score 20 plus. AC Milan have just gone ahead to lose Olivier Giroud, and after losing Olivier Giroud, they need to obviously get in a striker that will obviously get them to where they have to be. And I've gone ahead to see a story that they are also interested into Amad Broja of Chelsea, and he want to sign him on a permanent at the side of AC Milan. So all those are indicators that maybe even AC Milan might be afraid that they might lose out if at all United really put in a lot of interest, and the interest is there, and Man United is willing to trigger £35 million to bring in this striker. And I've always told you that there are 3 players that we have to first bring in first before we think about any other player: a CDM, a centre back, and a centre forward. Those are 3 players that have to first land in at the club of Manchester United. And United shouldn't repeat the mistake they did last season. You know, the first signing for the club of Manchester United was Mason Mount, £60 million, yet that was not what we call the marquee signing for Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag needed a CDM, Erik ten Hag needed a central defender, Erik ten Hag needed a centre forward, Erik ten Hag needed a goalkeeper, and after signing Mason Mount, Onana came in. After Onana came in, Rasmus Højlund came in the first week. I think in the first week of August. You know, he came in late. He was not part of the preseason. Then Amrabat came through on the deadline day. You also saw to it that Atil Bendair also came in through towards the end of the summer transfer window, and we only get in 2 players quickly: Mason Mount and it was Mason Mount and Andre Onana who were part of that tour that we had signed. I don't count Johnny Evans because we never went ahead to sign him. He was a free agent, and it was easy to obviously integrate him into the club of Manchester United. To show you that Man United is really slow at doing business, you remember the debut pre-season for Erik ten Hag at the club of Manchester United. Do you remember that a free agent known as Eriksson, you know, came in through in the squad of Manchester United towards the last 2 weeks? I think towards the last week or before the season went ahead to start. You know, that is how weak we are, that we couldn't even negotiate a deal with the free agent to say to it that he's part of the preseason for the club of Manchester United. That was in Thailand, Melbourne, and Austria. You understand? So don't come out and really not blame these people for doing it. And we want to see how Ineos does it this time round. Can they get Erik ten Hag 3 players before we go to the US tour? That is it. If they can get 3 players before we go to the US tour, then they would have gone ahead to do well, because those 3 players are really needed. Gerard Braithwaite, All Todibo, one of those should be in. Yao Neves, All Amrabat, All Ederson, one of those should be with the club of Manchester United. And Joshua Zirkzee, All Ivan Toney, name it, should be here before we head to the US. You get? I want to see those players participate into those games that we are going to be playing in the US, because in the US I think we're going to be playing is it 3 games? Yeah, I think we are going to be playing 3 games. You get? We are going to be playing 3 games in the US, and the first game in the US is going to be played on the 28th of July, right? That's going to be against Arsenal. I would love to see those 3 players integrated into the team. Then there is Rio Betis, 1st of August. It's really going to be another big fixture there. Man United versus Liverpool, 4th August. I would love to see the team of Manchester United coming in through, doing a very good job down that side in the US, with all those signings integrated in, and see how we obviously prepare to take on Man City. I know Manchester United hasn't gone ahead to add on one more fixture that is going to be played at Old Trafford, because we'll be playing at Wembley, right? We'll be playing at Wembley around the 11th of August, because if this last game is going to be played on the 4th, that means on the 11th of August, between the 9th and 12th, that's when the Community Shield is going to be really scheduled to be played in there for you. And if at all you are a fan of Man United, you will obviously want to see all those players that we've gone ahead to sign take part into what we call a game when you're playing against Man City, not so into what we call the Community Shield, because you want to field a side that everyone will come out and say, all right, the side is really doing great and we are doing wonders. So that's all about Joshua Zirkzee, and I'm here to obviously get into your feedback into the live chat. You can as well talk with me, or you can as well talk to me into the live chat onto what you think about this beautiful game of football. Sorry, these signings that we are being linked to as a club of Manchester United. Now, let's leave that and go to another story about Marcus Rashford. Lolly Whitwell has today gone ahead to put out very many things that I think you people deserve to know about. And one of those was all about Rashford is known to have taken issue with Erik ten Hag's style of management. He's the kind of player who takes on coaching in the bite-sized chunks rather than exhaustive instructions. The arrival of Højlund saw him move away from the areas where he did his best of work. And this is a lie. This is a lie. Rashford. Rasmus Højlund played his first game for Man United off the bench when you're playing against Arsenal. You get? And for the previous season, we had played, how many games have we played against Arsenal? Let me see. I remember we played Wolverhampton Wanderers, right? Rasmus Højlund didn't play because he had a back problem. Then after that we played Tottenham Hotspur, you get, and we played against Nottingham Forest. Now, in the game of Wolverhampton Wanderers, it's Rafael Varane that scored. In the game of Tottenham Hotspur, we never scored. In the game of Nottingham Forest, it was Eriksson, Bruno Fernandes, and Casemiro, right? Rashford scored his first goal of the season when you're playing against Arsenal. You know, he put United ahead. You get? And that's when Rasmus Højlund came in through. This could make sense if at all Rashford was really shining on these games. And the presence of Rasmus Højlund should make Rashford a better player, because Rashford should find himself in better positions of really having a lot of space to occupy, because Rasmus Højlund will obviously attract a lot of attention of these people. But the problem of Marcus Rashford is every time he gets hold of that ball, he wants to go in for the hard stuff. That's my problem with him. You get? That's my problem with him. He'll love to obviously go in for the hard stuff, and I don't want such shit. I don't want it. You know? Why is it that Alejandro Garnacho is thriving? Rashford is not thriving because he doesn't do what he's supposed to do. You know? If he does that quick pass where necessary and spreads himself very well, he'll find himself in a proper goal scoring position. But the moment he continues doing what he does, being selfish, running into players, yet his skill set is not all that good at really running out or skipping past players, he's really gonna continue to experience that on several occasions, because it is really very bad of him to do what he does. To me, it stinks. It stinks, and there is no way I would come out and obviously defend him. You know, that is a lie that Marcus Rashford even went ahead to obviously meet with Dave Braceford and really had to talk with him after that scenario of him being in Northern Ireland, came back and Ten Hag dropped him because of the indiscipline that he really went ahead to really exhibit into the camp of Man United. So the boy is troubled, and he needs to obviously find himself doing better things before such stories are really put out. And you might find out that now the PR of these people are really dishing out these stories to Lolly Whitwell, and Lolly Whitwell says these stories are coming in from a reliable source. Ten Hag continued to instruct a higher starting lineup so that his team could squeeze the play in the final third. It was the blueprint mapped out by Man United hierarchy, but the team would drop deeper than Ten Hag intended, leaving large spaces in the midfield. So we are having players at the club of Manchester United who are not really adaptive. You know, in this modern game, for any player, you should be adaptive to what the manager really tells you. You get? And you are not going to be playing the same style of football day in, day out. Things will have to change at a certain point X. They will have to change, because it won't be ABCD, you know, till kingdom come. No. Sometimes it will be ABCD, sometimes it will be XYZ, sometimes it will be XST. You get? It won't be the same all the time. You get? So, sorry about that. It won't be the same as you people think, you know, it will call in for different people at different occasions, at different periods of time. So let's obviously get to know that some players are not meant to be Man United players. They are not meant to be. They are not meant to be, because if you are not adaptive to any manager that comes in through, then you are not going to be playing for the club of Manchester United. And the standards that Erik ten Hag has gone ahead to set are really huge, that to match them, you need to obviously be very adaptive. So the players of Man United need to learn from that and really understand that Erik ten Hag has gone ahead to obviously have the best players around him, and that's why we are calling in for that kind of player, those kind of players to obviously come in through and really let this to where it deserves to be. So Marcus Rashford, where you are, I know he will come across this video, because these players watch these fan channels a lot, because they know to eat that we are the voice of the fans. That is it. And even if he doesn't really watch us and listen to us, he like to go into the live chat and see how people are really commenting about him into the live chat. You understand? So that is it, coming in through from the man himself, known as Lolly Whitwell. He really went ahead to put out lots of stories about that, and I think tomorrow I'm gonna be adding a little bit of those into our stories. Then Mike Keegan has come out and said that insiders have insisted that there was no serious consideration of Gareth Southgate for the managerial position at Manchester United. He adds his voice to that of Fabrizio Romano. You know, the managers that Man United talked to were Tuchel, Kylian McKenna. You get? Only those two. But why was Gareth Southgate so much into the picture? One, Dan Ashworth, the incoming sporting director for the club of Manchester United, worked with him with the England national team, I think from 2016. And they're really friends. Dave Bracefold is really a close friend to Gareth Southgate. And even when he was celebrating his birthday, Gareth Southgate was one of the invited guests at his hood, you know? And people were like, they are not wanting to reveal us who the replacement of Erik ten Hag is going to be, because they are waiting for Gareth Southgate to get done with the Euros and really get announced. Gareth Southgate went ahead to be asked, and he said, no way, I'll be joining the club of Manchester United, you know? And not until Erik ten Hag was announced as the manager of Man United, and that announcement was made by David Austin, that Erik ten Hag is here to stay. It was a breaking story that we went ahead to obviously see late in the night, and we went ahead to break it in here, and you viewed it massively. So that is all about the man himself, known as Gareth Southgate. They never came close to him, though there are people that appreciate him as a manager. And we came out and said with the fans of Man United that it can't be. It can't be. That is very, 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 very bad for us to go in for a manager like him to obviously come in through and be part of the restructure or rebuilding for the club of Manchester United. We can't entertain such crap at the club of Manchester United. And thank God he's not really anywhere close to the joining Manchester United, and his performances in the Euros are really going to show you what this man is made of, because I don't really see him as one of those people that has what we call the intent to obviously take on the club of Manchester United. So that is it, what we had in here, and I'm going to be really stopping that poll, and very soon I'll be bringing you the latest news and information as far as other things are really concerned in here for you. But Gerard Braithwaite, obviously his bid was being rejected by the side of Everton, and United are really working on the deal. They haven't gone ahead to pull out on the deal. They want to see this deal get done and dusted. After it getting done and dusted, a lot will obviously see to it that United finds themselves in a proper way of really convincing them to see to it that this lad signs for the side of Manchester United. Now, let me end this poll and see how you guys have gone ahead to vote. 28% of you have gone ahead to say it's... Sorry, 27 have gone ahead to say Ivan Toney. 27% of you are saying Ivan Toney. And 72% of you have gone ahead to say Joshua Zirkzee. And 1% haven't gone ahead to obviously vote. You understand? So that's what we had for you here onto the United Matters channel. I've gone ahead to obviously do a live session. Tomorrow I think we'll obviously be having one live session during the day and another one late in the night. But for the heroes, Scott McTominay's team has gone ahead to lose, right? That is Scotland. They've badly lost to Germany by 5-1. And tomorrow, let me see whether we have a United player into action. We don't have a United player in Hungary. We don't have a United player in Switzerland. No United player in Spain. No United player in Croatia. No United player in Italy. No United player in Albania, right? Then, on Sunday, Poland, we don't have any Polish player, right? I'm just setting you for the weekend to see whether we are going to be having any England player playing over the weekend. Then Netherlands, we don't have any Dutch player. It would have gone ahead to be Tyrell Malacia, but Tyrell Malacia found himself injured. He's not part of the team of the Dutch. Slovenia versus Denmark, that is on Sunday, 19 hours. Rasmus Højlund and Eriksson representing for the club of Manchester United, right? So we are gonna be watching Rasmus Højlund and Eriksson play on Sunday, right? They're gonna be facing the side of Benjamin Šeško. Then late in the night, England is gonna be playing against Serbia, right? England, we are having Luke Shaw, who is not going to be playing that game of football, but I'm 100% sure that Kobbie Mainoo is going to be part of the side of Manchester United. And I'll be letting you know when these other players of United will come into action. Turkey, Atil Bendair, 18th June, then Diego Dallo and Bruno Fernandes into the mix, right? So I've gone ahead obviously break down the fixtures a little bit, but the United player known as Scott McTominay, who has been in action today, has gone ahead to be really annihilated by the side of Germany. 5-1, Kai Havertz on target, Florin Wirtz on target, Musiala on target, Füllkrug on target, and Emre Can, plus an own goal coming in through from Antonio Rudiger, right? So Musiala has been named the man of the match, but he really had, to me, one of his best games of his career was really played today night. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. I see you, Araya, Daniela, big up everyone. Thank you for watching through. I sign out for now. See you later, guys. Allow me sleep off and prepare for tomorrow, and I would love to obviously drop in those videos early enough. May the living to God bless you abundantly. The Muslims Barakallahu Fikum. Rokan David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun. Good night, and those that are really just going ahead to be waking up, good morning. We love you on this channel, and it's a 5-finger salute to you, everyone.